Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world.
You have found us in the middle of the Pacific Ocean as we are busy with our crossing. We are 2 weeks in with about another 2 weeks to go.
Guess who's finally sailing? We're finally sailing again. The wind is stronger than predicted and it's hitting us right on the nose, right from the front in the direction we have to go. But with a wind like this, 11 knots true, it's just too good to give up. So we've shut off the motors and we're sailing more west. At some point we're going to have to go through more south, so take more, go more upwind to get more south to get the broad reach to Marquesas. But for now, we are finally sailing again after almost 3 days of motoring, so we're just enjoying it.
We've lost quite a few fishing lures over the last few days, especially 2 brand new ones we bought in Panama. So we're quite disappointed in that. One had a steel leader on and it was completely bitten off. So we don't know what that was. And the other one also bitten off completely. So we've been trying with some other lures. I made a new squid lure this morning. We've had quite a lot of success with the squid in the past. I've just put a sinker in its mouth and one of those little beads, a glow-in-the-dark bead, and it makes a little bit of a sound. And it's got a stainless steel leader on, so this one cannot be bitten off. It's like a solid stainless steel wire. So yeah, hopefully we get lucky with this pink squid.
It's blue and green. The tuna.
We just caught our first Pacific tuna. Not too bad size, but yeah, it's gonna be very tasty. We've been sailing in consistent winds now for more than 2.5 days. The doldrums seem to be something of the past, but in saying that, we had to push quite far south so that we miss this quite wide band of doldrums that we had, and that's maybe coming back in a week or so. So the difficult thing about that is the winds are normally southeast here, and at the moment they are more southerly. So for us to get south means it's a close reach. However, the swell has not been too bad, so close reaching for the last few days has not been too bad, and we've been managing to get south quite a bit, up to a point where today the wind picked up quite a lot this morning, and we decided to steer a little bit west to get it more on a beam reach.
and hopefully we can get broad reach conditions, which is the typical conditions we should be having here soon. It's just a way more comfortable point of sail, and it's a little bit drier. At the moment the water is splashing a little bit over the beam and making the cockpit wet. These abnormal weather conditions here is, I think there's two reasons for it. It's not really the trade wind season yet. It's the start of the season, but it's a little bit early, so one can expect the doldrums to vary quite a lot. As well as there's like we actually went through a small low pressure cell going south of Galapagos, but it seems like from the forecast that cell is developing and getting quite large, and it's just sitting there. I think it's pushed up by the South Atlantic high, and it's sitting against Ecuador, so I don't think it can move onto land, and it can't, so it's not disappearing, and that's creating this rotation that's creating more southerly winds where we are now instead of southeasterlies. So hopefully that low pressure can just diminish, and the normal big South Atlantic high can bring those southeasterlies back.
We've been reaching this morning. The winds went up to 18 knots, but it's come slightly down now. Hopefully it'll calm down soon and we can have a smoother sail.
It's the morning of the 15th day of our Pacific crossing, and it feels like, touch wood, that we've settled into a little bit better kind of consistent trade winds. They do still lull a little bit to like maybe 10 knots, but then they constantly build to say 14. Normally in the morning it's a little bit lighter, and at night we get a little bit stronger winds. Last night was particularly good. We actually averaged about 7.5 on some watches and 7 on others. We definitely still have a bit of current as well. So we are at just south of 10 degrees now. We wanted initially to go even lower, maybe 11 or 12, but we've decided, because the wind is relatively light, we don't want to go too far south, and then when we start turning back up we have to go dead downwind and very light wind. So we are aiming west when the wind is up, basically on a broad reach or a beam reach, and then when the wind dies down a little bit, then we go closer to the wind and we sail a little bit south. So we want to leave some space for ourselves to the south so that we don't get caught in just going downwind in 8-9 knots, which is very uncomfortable unless you fly the spinnaker, but it's quite a mission for the two of us to fly the spinnaker the whole time. So yeah, more consistent trade winds, and the swell is still kind to us. It hasn't been big swells at all.
I've never been able to keep any plant alive. I killed our last air plant that we had on board, but our last sweet potato has grown a forest. I don't know if we should have it. The plan was sweet potato and chickpea curry tonight because it's very calm again. We've basically not been rolling around that much. Like if you look at the past few days, today's been super calm. So curry it is, but I'm gonna kill our last alive plant.
We just lost another lure, our Frankenstein squid that was bitten almost in half by a mackerel in San Blas, but we repaired it and we just trolled it close to the boat to make like a distraction for the other lures, but something decided it looked good and it was completely bitten off. It had a massively thick leader line, but it was taken off. So one more lure gone. We just caught the baby Dorado, but the hook is through its eye. So yeah, we won't release this one. I think we're going to keep it on the hook as a bit of live bait and see if it catches a bigger fish. Shame, it went right through its eye. I think we caught another small Dorado. Unfortunately, there's a lot of baby ones here, but hopefully we get a bigger one as well. Small little mahi, but seeing that we haven't caught one or brought one on deck, we're deciding to keep this one. It will be well utilized as a meal for two. Sorry, little guy.
It's been a slow day after we caught the mahi. The wind has dropped quite a bit. We're down to about 5 knots only. So we're trying to stay as close to the wind as possible, going a little bit more south than we planned. But to go with our mahi feast for our dinner, I'm making brownies. When the sea is this calm, it's easy to bake, and definitely need to make the most of the calm weather.
We've changed the sails so that we can sail a little bit more downwind because we were going too far south. At the moment we're making good, we're just north of going a westerly course. But as you can see, after adjusting the sails, we pulled out to Genoa and we've got the main out. It's a bit of a mess in the cockpit always with the lines, so it's always time to tidy up after sail changes.
Join us next week as the wind dies and we have to do everything we can to keep going. Our freezer also decides to pack up. Can I fix it in mid-ocean? Thank you to our Patreons for supporting the making of these videos financially. If you want to help but can't be a Patreon, like our videos. Leaving comments and subscribing also helps YouTube to show our videos to more new people to enjoy. See you next week.